Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to another week of Soul to Soul. Yay! We're so happy to be here this Wednesday, Winsday. I'm Joy, and my buddy over here is
Ame-Lia, amazing to be here with you on this beautiful Wednesday.
yes. So
Ooh.
yeah, what are you celebrating? You guys, in case you're tuning in for the first time, we know it's sort of corny, but sort of phrased Wednesdays is Wednesday because we like to pause and like celebrate our little whatever it is, whether it's an accomplishment or just celebrating being in the process of something, being in the journey and like sticking with the journey of something. So, Ame-Lia, what are you celebrating today?
I am celebrating. I just got back from Denver, and Denver was for me all about a 1 day strategy session with this new coach I'm working with. And I'm celebrating the fact that I made the investment in my business in bigger and more profound ways than I ever have before. I've invested a lot into my business, and this felt like the next level to get me to the place of making the impact that I really want to make in this world. And I'm so in this space of like seeing all the excuses, acknowledging them, and being like, and yeah, I don't have time for that. Moving on. It feels so good to have a plan in place. It felt like such an act of self love, love for my business, love for the people I want to serve, love for me as well to receive in such a profound way. So that's what I'm celebrating.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be one of those. This is going to be one of those shows. I can feel it where the word love comes
Ooh.
up about 100 times. So, hey, little bonus fun thing here, you guys. If you can count the number of times that we love, whoever comes closest, I don't know. We'll figure out something. Have some sort of little prize.
That means
Um,
we have to go back and count.
exactly, exactly. Uh,
What are you celebrating?
I love that you said that. And before I get to what I'm celebrating, I want to jump in your boat for a little bit because one of the things that was on my mind coming into today was I was just reflecting back on, hey, we were doing a series for a few weeks, I think, right, on money. And I was thinking about, oh, I wonder what we're going to talk about this week because you guys, this is not scripted, right? We don't rehearse. It's not scripted. We jump in and it really is just, hey, what is bubbling up for us? And let's just authentically get into it, whatever it is, right? So I was thinking about the money topic. And I was thinking about, hey, I don't know if maybe we did, but I don't remember if we shared like any practical tips. And I was thinking about the audience, and I know both of us always are wanting to be mindful of, hey, what can we give, right? What can we share? So I was going to bring up, and that was a perfect lead in because you mentioned you're celebrating making an investment in yourself, right? And in your business. And I've sort of been the past few days, really, maybe the past week, sort of just looking at the landscape, have my little antenna up, like what's going on in society? What's going on in the world? Hey, what's the lay of the land? And it is seeming to me, right, watching the signs that nobody's really coming out and saying we're in a recession. And I think part of the reason for that is people get freaked out, right, by that word. And humans are fragile. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, God, please not one more thing. We're just trying to get acclimated after coming out of like the pandemic. And so can we just like have a breather? But looking at the landscape, which I've been doing and watching, wow, this is something's afoot, right? Something's definitely going on. A lot of companies are laying off and closing stores, especially retail, right? and even non-retail. So I was thinking, what do you do? What are some tips, practical things that we can do to prepare financially, right? When we don't know what's coming. And that's been another thing that we've talked about, what to do when things don't go as planned. So on that note, I just wanted to share, like, what do you do? So I have like two, maybe three simple tips to just wrap up my money thoughts. And one is take inventory. Take an inventory. Now, especially, is a good time to take inventory of where's my money going? What am I spending on? I think, sometimes we're carrying old subscriptions to things that we're not even using, and things are on auto pay, or maybe we get mentally on autopilot. So find those areas where money is being spent, where maybe now's a good time to stop those subscriptions if we're not using them, and really assess that just as a way to save. The second thing that I wanted to share, which I am definitely going to be doing, because like you, Ame-Lia, I, over the past probably 3 years, have invested in myself and in my business, and some things I put on, credit cards or whatever. So take stock. If you have debt, make an inventory of that. Now is a good time to start paying down, or even paying off, if we can, the high interest debt that we have. And then, if possible, start putting away, even if it's just a little bit, start putting money somewhere, and, stocking up this emergency fund, because the signs are there. A lot of companies are doing major layoffs and and I'm not saying this to like freak anybody out, but I just wanted to share these practical things that have been on my mind. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I think that's wisdom speaking. And so, and if we are going to make investments, now's a good time to invest, as you have recently done, Ame-Lia, in ourselves. Invest in yourself. If you're going to spend money, spend it on things to expand yourself, maybe learn a new skill or get deeper knowledge in an area to make yourself more valuable, increase our skills, even personal development, right? When we invest in coaching and things to grow ourselves, that ultimately is something that we get a return on, right? Because when we show up better, we're able to produce more value for whoever, whether it's a company or our clients, if we have businesses. So that's my little 2 cents.
Yeah,
Talk.
I like it. I just want to add a few things. One is I like what you were just saying about investing. And I've heard over time, and certainly my financial advisors have always recommended as well, that this is a good time to actually make investments as the stocks start to come down, because you can just purchase more, and you're thinking long term, right? Like not for the present moment. So if you do have some spare change, like to actually put that back into these long-term investments, whether that is in the stock market or whether that is in Bitcoin or whatever. That is not a world that I'm involved in yet. But education and training and up-leveling, therapy, whatever that is for you, you're going to get that long time return on. So 100% agree with that. And I think also a practical tip is just check your mindset. Like, are you going down into a deep hole of fear and dread and worry and, oh my gosh, one more thing that I have to suffer through? Or are you going to see this as an opportunity? And that's going to shift everything for you. And it's going to infuse whatever decisions you make at this time with more positivity and hopefulness and love, and that sends a signal to receive abundance, receive love, receive whatever it is that you are really wanting to receive in this moment, not receive the dread and the more financial debt and the whatever you're tuned into. So just take this time to check what channel are you tuned into in this moment, and is that what you really want to receive? Because you can make a recession whatever you want it to be. And we have fear around using the word recession because, oh my gosh, it's so bad and blah blah blah. But it's like, is it? So much good comes out of recessions. So it's like, what are you focused on? So that's what I want to add to that conversation.
I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, who's counting the word love? I don't know how many times I just said it, but seriously, dude, and can we flip that coin? Because on one coin, on one side is receive, on the other side of that is give. So I'm gonna like
Yes.
speak to that, right? Because you are so spot on. Now is not the time to be in fear. Now is an opportunity. So while we're taking inventory and doing all the things, it's not necessarily doing those things from a perspective of being afraid that we're going to run out or we're going to be in lack, but seeing where perhaps we have some fat that can be trimmed, or where we have some patterns of spending, right? Because we can get into that too, right? From an emotional place. Oh man, I see that. Oh, I'm going out to dinner and drinks with friends 3 times a week. Why am I doing that? Ooh, it's because I've got some emotional issues that I really don't want to deal with. And so I'm spending money, right, to do these things. Well, do you really want to be putting your money there? Just want to speak to giving.
Yes.
Because giving is a way, logically, it doesn't make sense. But there's actually a spiritual law. When we give, we open ourselves up to receive more. So now is the time to really tune in, I would say, and get aligned with, wait, who do I want to be in the world, which is something we've talked about a lot, right? How do I want to show up? Do you want to live in abundance? Well, living in abundance includes having more than enough to meet your needs and being in a state of overflow to help others in need. So that's one of the things that I get excited about when I'm going through these processes. Ooh, where can I save? Part of my mindset is, yeah, let me start storing up, because we may be entering into a season where more and more people are in need. And if when people are in need, I want to be on the giving side. I want to be among those who are like, you know what? Let me show love and compassion. Let me buy your groceries for a week, or I just want to be on the giving side, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, generosity.
So important. That also helps with anxiety. Like, take the focus off yourself and give. My mom said that to me once. I was on the phone with her and I was like, Mom, like just whining about whatever was going on in my life. And she said, why don't you like take the focus off yourself and think about who you can give to in this moment? You know, she's like, that's always helped me. And that has always stuck with me. And when I remember, it has the most beautiful of benefits on so many levels. So I love what you're saying. And thanks for bringing in the giving piece. It's so important.
Because it's another way of, it really is, I think, the other side of receiving, give and you'll receive. So not give because we want to receive, but I'm saying that is a principle. It's just an automatic. When you give, you will receive something, even if it's like kind of what you're putting your finger on. There's a joy. There's inner things, inside things that come from giving. Peace, joy. It feels good. Give. It reduces anxiety and a whole lot of other benefits.
Yeah. Cool. What do you are you ready to what are you celebrating?
I
I'm not
am,
letting you off the hook.
yeah, no. I'm celebrating. I'm celebrating. Trying to figure out how I want to phrase it. So, like these things that I just shared, right? Those are all things that bubble up from the inside out. Those are all things that I often will hear this small, still voice on the inside saying to me, right? Reminding me of these principles. Oh, yeah, giving. I need to give more. Um, and oh, yeah, this is who I am. I'm a believer in abundance. And like, so I'm celebrating hearing that voice, which I believe is the voice of God, right? Being able to get grounded in times where it could be something that, like I was just saying, like in times of seeing the writing on the wall, seeing things happen that make me go, oh my gosh, like what is happening? And at the same time, hearing that voice that guides me toward foundational principles so that I don't lose my ish in those moments,
Mm-hmm.
I'm celebrating that, and I'm grateful for that because it lets me know, it reminds me over and over, day after day, that I am loved and that God is watching over me all the time. And even when I'm not as tuned in consciously to Him, He's always tuned in to me. And things are always aligning for my good. It's like bumper rails are always there. So I'm celebrating, I guess, an awareness of that, and I'm just in gratitude for that.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yay, God.
Yay, God.
Yay, love.
Oh. All we need is love.
Right.
All we need is love.
Mm.
And yet it does seem so elusive sometimes,
Wow.
But I think what I'm excited about right now is there's a lot of strife going on right now. And for me, that's a sign that things are really shifting and we are tapping into something different and more magnificent and expansive. And when we're in that stage, of course, the natural tendency is to contract and protect and stay safe.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just want to encourage folks out there, if you're feeling that, to find your spaces where you're able to share what's coming up for you in a safe way, not be fixed, not be told what to do, but just to release it from your body, and also just speak freely so that your own wisdom comes to you in this moment, and you hear that true guidance, not the guidance that is out there from all the noise, but the inner guidance, which is always the truth. And pick your path, choose your lane, and get in it and go. I'm in this stage right now of just saying yes to so many things, and not from a place of like, oh, life is short, I don't know when I'll have the opportunity to write my book or whenever, but it's just like, yes, I want to write my book now. And I've got a million other things going on, but why not? Let's
Mm-hmm.
add that to the list, because it
Mm-hmm.
brings me joy and it has an opportunity to make an impact and all of the things. So but I'm not doing that alone. I guess maybe that's what I'm saying. It's like I'm getting support to do that. So
Mhm.
support is so required in this world that we live in and in life in general. We were not meant to do it alone. That's why I love this collaboration where I'm not sitting here by myself talking, but we co-create and collaborate and create something so much more magical than either one of us could do by ourselves.
Mhm. Oh, so many things. You were going to say something else, though.
I don't know what I was going to say. I sort of lost track. So just go with whatever is in your heart.
You, I got to pick up on your two things you said. And one was just choose. Choose your lane, choose your path, and get in it, right? That's so, it sounds so simple and like it's easy to miss that. But I believe that's one of those key things that gives us what we need to be resilient and to be able to bounce back and to be able to have joy and real peace, not fake peace, like, oh, I'm saying I'm okay, but really on the inside, I'm falling to pieces. Nuh-uh. Part of that comes from knowing who you are and what you want, which I believe is ultimately connected to having a sense of purpose and being like, I am so clear. I'm so sure this is not me. This is me. Nope, that's not me. This is me. Right. And this is where I believe I'm to be heading in my life. And once we do that, once we're clear on that, it becomes a little easier to make those day-to-day choices like, oh, wait, we actually start to feel when we're out of alignment with that. Something just feels off. And it's easier to say, oh, wait, let me pause. Oh, yeah, I'm out of, what am I doing over here? Let me get back in my lane. That's important. Choosing. And I think that's a day to day, sometimes it's an hour by hour
Yeah.
sort of a thing, depending on how crazy the day is. We choose, what do I want? Wait, do I want to invest my energy here? Do I want my emotions to go in this direction? Because we're in charge. We get to choose. Yeah, I mean, I feel weird right now, but do I want to just sit in this for 8 hours? Or do I not want to do that? It's like constant choosing. Um, and yeah, not doing it alone is so important. I think there, what's really key is choosing our community
Mm.
because sometimes we can not be alone, but we're not necessarily in aligned company, right? So we can be in community with people who are where like it's a lot of chatter. But that chatter conducive with who we are and where we know we're trying to go in life. So I think even that, who we who we talk to, who we commune with, who we share with, is something to really think about and choose wisely. Because not everybody's for us, and we're not for everybody.
Yeah. I love that. And that can be tricky for people because people get all like, "Oh, that's not nice to exclude people." And we're not saying be judgmental and rude about it. It's just it's your life. And so who do you want to surround yourself by?
Mm.
Um I know this has been a thing for me in my life for sure. Just I have gone the route of being very judgmental in terms of who I'm surrounding myself with and wanting to be all uppity up and then just kind of disowning folks. And I have paid the consequences, from
Mhm.
choosing in that way. And I've learned a lot through that process. That was personal growth that I needed to go through.
Mhm.
And today, I just it's really a choice of self-love. It's a choice of love for everybody involved because I find that those folks that I'm surrounded by that are, keeping the vibe high, supporting me to see the possibilities, to also just be me and process if I need to, I can be more authentic in those spaces. And then I'm becoming the best version of myself. And for me, like, that's what I want this life to be. I want to become the best version of me. And I want to surround myself with people who can help me be that. And sometimes that means people calling me out on my stuff. Um, just like my mom did back then. She's like, yeah, you're kind of like in your head. And, like, how about you get out of that? And it shifted something in me. And then I could show up as the best version of myself. That's who I want to be surrounded by.
Me too. I'm so glad you brought that up though, that it's not about assessing people and like, oh, I'm going to cut you out of my life or cut you out of my life, or it's not like a good or bad, oh, this person sucks, so I don't want to hang around. It's not that at all.
Mm-mm.
What you shared about going through that process, that growth process though, of shifting from judgment and criticism, which I think if we're all really honest, I know I can raise my hand, right, to having gone through that journey and getting to a point. I think sometimes when we're in that judgment critical phase, I'll call it, we don't necessarily know even that we're being that, right? So that also is part of the growth journey. But that was me too at one point, and I'm sure even sometimes now, I'm not saying I'm totally judgment or criticism free. I try not to be, right? But it's really about, like you said, wanting to be the best version of you. So I know for me, that includes with the small circle of people that I consider to be like really good friends. I hope that if I'm going off on some tangent, right? Or I'm being like really negative, because people who know me know I don't want to be like that, right? I want to be all like love and joy. So even if something went wrong and I'm like just sharing about a situation, whether it's anything, right? Work or, my computer crashed or whatever. It's like, yeah, okay, share that stuff. But I would hope that the people in my life, if they saw me repeatedly going, let's say, veering into the negative, that they would somehow remind me of who I am. I think that's what friends do, right? Like, hey, what's really going on, Joy? Because that's not like like, whoa, pump the brakes. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think really good friends bring that to you, because sometimes we can lose ourselves, right? Sometimes we can be blindsided by things, and having people to speak positivity, or even to ask curious questions, right? Like, hey, let's really talk about that. Do you really mean that? To get us to think about our own and then come to the conclusions ourselves, however it comes. I'm like, please, yes, and thank you. Please let me always have at least a couple of people like that to show me and where I need to course correct. Does it feel good? No, it never feels good in the moment. Sometimes it hurts. But that's, I think, the only way that we grow, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's so easy to get in in the flow of negativity or whatever, because it's very common in our society to be that way. It's socially accepted, so it's a beautiful thing, I think, when you have those folks around you that are like, I know you, Joy. I don't think this is the lane you want to be in. Like, so I'm here to support you. And it's not about being perfect in that support either. For those of you who are supporting folks, sometimes it's just about saying the thing, and it might not come out great. And it doesn't matter, because it's all practice, and it's the intention that matters versus what you actually say. But if my intention is to love Joy and be a support and help her live the best life she can possibly live, then sometimes those words aren't going to land well, like you just said. And I have to be okay with that, because my intention is love. And when we can ground in that, I think it just makes all these supportive conversations, I'm not going to say difficult conversations, supportive conversations, easier to be in.
Yeah, I just remembered at the beginning stages, early in our friendship, I don't know why this memory flashed, but I remember us talking. It was probably around the holidays, and I was sharing just some irritations with some close family members or some things, about the family dynamic that can give me angst, like especially around the holidays. And I was sharing some details, and I remember you asking me, well, Joy, why do you feel it was something like situations weren't the way that I, either thought, or probably the way that I said it was, well, it shouldn't be this way. Like, I don't know why they won't do this or that. It was something. And you asked me, Joy, why do you feel that you need for them to do this? Or why do you feel a need? Whatever it was, you asked the question that made me, it allowed me to see myself. And I think I cracked up laughing, because that's usually my response when I see the ridiculousness, in my own behavior. But then it really got me seeing that the real issue was my need for control, which I was totally blind to before you asked that question. Like, you were listening, but you were listening with curiosity and with love to help me, right? So that's the kind of thing that when you have good friends, they won't just sit and listen to you venting and griping and then jump on in there with you. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, my family sucks too, and blah blah blah. But like at some
Yeah.
point, hopefully there's some help, not just, oh, we spent 3 hours together and talked about how awful this is or that is, or how awful this person is. Like, if you've got that going on in your circle, that could be a signal to maybe take inventory of, yeah, what is happening, who am I surrounding myself with. And again, like you said, Ame-Lia, not to judge other people, but to just really assess, is this what I want? Is this the type of environment that I want to be putting myself in at this point in my life? And if it is, great. But if it's not, then it's an opportunity to choose differently.
Totally. I love it. Cool. I like that we came here today into this conversation, because it's really just so empowering when we're in the driver's seat. And it's easy to get caught in stories where we think we're not in choice, but we're always in choice. And yeah. So thanks for taking us here today. I appreciate it. I need this reminder. It's so great for me too, because it is really easy to get comfy in the victim seat, or the like, oh, just like we were talking about the recession, like we can feel victimized by it, or we can see it as an opportunity to tighten the finances and stop spending money on things we really don't need to spend money on, that aren't actually bringing us true joy. Yeah.
That's right. So, hey, you guys, How many times do we say the word love today?
We'll believe you, whatever you say. You give us
We want to know. Drop it in the comments. There's a gift card. You know what? Okay, this is what I'm sensing. So I'm just going to say it out there. So there's a $50 gift card, no strings attached, to whoever gets it right. I am going to go back and listen. And you too, Ame-Lia, let's go back and listen and we will
Okay.
count. But we want you guys to get engaged. It's just a little fun thing. And hey, speaking of like saving money and stuff, you know, hey, that's $50. You can like go out to lunch or whatever, do whatever. Go and get your nails manicured or whatever. Or stick it in the bank. Save it. Use that. Throw it into your savings fund. Whatever you want to do.
Sweet. I love it. That's really generous of you.
Mm-hmm.
Giving. I love it.
Yeah, open myself up to receive, right?
That's right.
So.
Cool. Amazing. Well, I think I think that's it, right? For today. We will be back next Wednesday.
Yep.
Same time, same bat channel. And if you're watching this during the replay, let us know what came up for you during this conversation. Where are you feeling like maybe you haven't been quite in choice, or you've been choosing the lane that doesn't feel like you have choice? Where is it that you could potentially give? And in doing so, open yourself up to receive. Mm-hmm. What are some other questions, Joy?
Where can you invest more in yourself, right, to grow and expand, and move the needle a little bit toward your purpose?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, where are there opportunities to take inventory, whether it's in your finances or in your community, who you surround yourself with? Maybe it's taking inventory of your emotions. That's an interesting one. You know, sort of, hey, what's going on with me and how am I showing up? Let me take inventory of what's happening internally. That's a good one.
I love that. Always. Yeah. So powerful. Cool. Well, thank you, Joy Ross. It's been amazing as usual.
Thank you, Ame-Lia. And thank you guys for tuning in. And we'll see you back here next week.